Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today, I am very excited to be having a conversation with Food Network personality, pastry chef, and author Duff Goldman. Thank you so much for being on my show. I'm so excited to be talking with you.
I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's get started. So you just signed a multi-year deal with Food Network. Congratulations. Um, can you tell us a little bit about what projects we can look forward to?
First of all, thank you. It's really nice to have a job. It feels good. So I'll be working on a bunch of different stuff. We have two kind of new shows in the works that they're not greenlit yet. We're still kind of figuring out what they are. And then we have all the baking championships like spring baking and summer baking and kids baking, which is one of my favorites. Um, Hopefully there's another cooking show. I really enjoy like cooking on TV, and I do a lot of judging right now, but hopefully they'll let me back in the kitchen and let me do some more cooking and baking because I like doing that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so what food best represents your personality?
What food best represents my personality? I'm gonna say, hmm, I'm gonna say chocolate.
Good
Right,
choice.
I think chocolate. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the thing about chocolate is that like everybody likes chocolate, but it's
Yeah.
also really complex, and it's a very mercurial, difficult ingredient to work with, and sometimes that can be difficult to work
Yeah. I like that answer.
with. Thanks.
Yeah. Um, so what food do you avoid at all costs?
Cilantro,
Mm.
because it's gross.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with yeah, and bell peppers too. I'm a very like I do not like bell peppers. I think they ruin everything they touch. Every once in a while, there's something. There's like a Middle Eastern kind of red pepper paste that's really good, but for the most part, when you put bell peppers in anything, whatever you're making just tastes like bell peppers, and I think it's a little gross.
Mm. Yeah. Um, so who has had the biggest impact on the person you have become?
Man, um, I think I'm gonna say my wife. My wife is she's so like just good and kind inside, and just sort of by example, she's really taught me how to like relax a little bit and really just try to lead with kindness, you know? I think seeing somebody who's really she's good all the way down. And I think that she just kind of inspires me to also, be a good person and be kind, and she's amazing. So yeah, I think it's my wife.
Oh, I love that. So what genre of movie would your life story be told as?
Definitely a comedy. Maybe a dark comedy, but definitely a comedy. I mean, it's funny, right? Like, every
Yeah,
once in a while, I'll look around and I'm like, how did I get here? This is crazy.
yeah.
And when you think about sort of all the just like coincidences that happened and all the just the random things that happened that nobody could have predicted that got me to a point where I was a chef on the Food Network, um, it's pretty mind blowing, and it's also really funny, like a lot, like I became a cake decorator because I wanted to be in a band and quit cooking. So I started making cakes as a way to pay my rent so I could like go on tour and make records and all that stuff. And I'm not famous for music, but now I am for my baking, which is kind of a funny twist.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this one quote that I saw a while ago that just always stuck with me that was saying if life doesn't go the way that you plan, just yell plot twist and move on. Because I always do that. I'm just like, oh, plot twist.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's the thing. It's funny. I was just having this conversation with another friend of mine this morning. How it's good to have a plan. It's good to have some goals. As you're going through life, it's like, okay, this is kind of where I want to go. But it's also really important not to have blinders on and to really be able to see if life is handing you an opportunity, to see it. I mean, you can choose whether or not that's a direction you want to go in, but just being open and aware to everything the universe is going to sort of throw your way, I think is really important to just to try to stay in the moment, and really be just eyes open because you never know. I did not want to be a chef on the Food Network. That was not what I set out to do.
Yeah. Um, so what are the songs that make you sing along whenever you hear them?
Oh man. Um I'd say Ramble On by Led Zeppelin. Um Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. And Word Up by Cameo.
Mhm. Oh, cool.
Have you heard of any of those songs?
I've heard of the first two.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should listen to Word Up by Cameo. It's really
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down right now so I don't forget. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now I have a new song to listen to.
And a whole wormhole of 80s hip hop to
Yeah.
listen to and enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, I love 80s music, so
Me too. Me
yeah.
too. It was good music in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom like raised my sister and I on 80s music, so we are obsessed with everything 80s. 80s
Awesome.
music, 80s movies, everything. So,
So you like Duran Duran?
yes.
Awesome. Talking Heads? You like Talking Heads?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Good.
Yeah. Um, so what small things bring you joy on a daily basis?
It's a good question. I think for me, it's like completing tasks. Like, I really enjoy doing the laundry or cleaning the kitchen. Um, I like things tidy and organized. So that's one thing I like to do. I like to clean. Another one is I try to play music every day. I'm a musician, and it's been music is a monumental, humongous part of my life. It affects a lot of the decisions I make. It's what I look for. Music really means a lot. And so, I try to play a lot because I just find that when I'm playing music, if I'm playing like half hour to an hour a day, I just feel a lot better, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, yeah, I I write a lot. I can't play like instruments or anything, but I write a lot of lyrics. And so I never put them to music, but that's always like my way of getting out all my frustration and everything, just writing it all
Interesting.
down.
Do you have you ever listened to Joni Mitchell?
Yes, I have.
So I find like when I listen to Joni Mitchell, it's like she she's so good at writing. Like she's an amazing singer. She's an amazing writer, but her vocal melodies I find are really interesting. And I feel like when you really listen to the lyrics and listen to the melodies, it's almost like taking a class in how to write a song, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I yeah, I feel that way with Taylor Swift. Uh,
sure.
yeah, she is one of my favorite singers, and I know so many other people that would say
Yeah.
that. But her music is really like really inspires me and helps me uh uh, create. So
Mm, good, good. Well, keep listening.
thank you. Yeah. So what are people surprised to learn about you?
Um, I think one of the things that surprises people is that I'm also a carpenter. I do a lot of woodworking, um, and I think when people say like, "Oh, wow, that's like a different form of art that nobody really knew that I did." Like sometimes I'll post things on Instagram, but not often. But when I do, people are like, "Oh, wow, I had no idea that you did that stuff."
Yeah.
And I think it's something I get from my family. Like my mom is a stained glass artist, and she makes mosaics. My grandmother was a silversmith and a photographer, and my great grandmother was a weaver and a baker and a milliner. She made ladies' hats, and I think it's something that my whole family we just need to constantly create things with our hands.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. So what is your proudest accomplishment so far?
Um, is my daughter an accomplishment?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
yeah, she's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of her, man. I gotta tell you, like, it's tough growing up, right?
Yeah.
She's two. Tough being a 2 year old, and man, she's doing a really good job.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's smart, she's sweet, she's kind, she's funny, like she's curious. She's a goofball, she's a total ham, she loves food. So so far so good, I'm pretty proud of her.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So what movie or show do you find yourself quoting more often than you'd like?
um oh god, there's a lot. I speak in movie quotes. Like when I do like the baking championships, I almost every time it's my turn to talk, I speak in movie quotes. And
Yeah,
sometimes people catch it, sometimes they don't. People be like,
yeah,
"You just said something on Spring Baking Championship, and it was a line from a 1986 movie called blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yes, that's exactly where it came from." And people are like, "You know what?"
yeah,
Because I think it's just all movies. I kind of can't help it. I love movies. I've loved movies my whole life. I really, really, really love movies, and um, things stick with me. There's things that people say that stick with me. I just quoted a movie today in Gladiator. There's a character named Cicero, and Maximus asks him, Cicero, do you find it hard to do your duty? Cicero says, sometimes I do what I want to do, but most of the time I do what I have to. And it just came to mind. I quoted it in a post, and it's just a thing I have. I don't know why I speak in movie quotes, but I do.
I love that. Yeah, I speak in show quotes a lot. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just constantly quote different shows. So,
What are you watching right now?
oh, right now, I'm watching Grimm and the Tomorrow People.
Okay.
And then my mom and I are watching Suits right now. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, and
Have you
one
ever watched Bob's
I
Burgers?
I haven't.
What?
I think I saw like one episode a while ago, but I haven't
It
watched.
it's really good.
Oh,
I
okay.
like get into it. If you get into it, like just, watch like the first few episodes, but it is one of the most heartwarming, funny, clever, well written. You love all the characters. It's really, really, really good. You should watch it. You should watch
Cool. Okay,
it.
yeah, I'm adding that to the list. So
Okay.
thank you for that.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I speak in a lot of Will and Grace and Friends quotes.
Okay.
So I'll just and there was one conversation I was having with a friend. I think I quoted Will and Grace like 3 times in the same conversation. So
And did your friend even know?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, you have to watch Will and Grace and then this will make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Um, so how do you keep yourself motivated on days that you aren't feeling it?
Um, Discipline,
Mm,
right? Discipline. I think that that's where like motivation is easy, right? Because motivation's like, oh, I really want to X, I really want to be in shape, right?
yeah,
That's motivation. I am motivated to be in shape. But to actually do it every single morning, 5 a.m., get up, go in the gym, put on music, do my routine, give it everything I had every day. That takes discipline. And I think that it's still something I'm learning, I'm 48 years old and I'm still trying to figure out how to have consistent discipline. It's tough.
yeah,
It's really tough. But I think the way that I do it is by reminding myself what I'll feel like if I don't do it,
mm,
right? Like if
mm,
I don't feel like working out, I'll remind myself like if you don't work out, you're going to think about how you didn't work out all day long. And when you're going to sleep tonight and you're getting ready to close your eyes, you're going to remember that you didn't work out today and it's going to bother you. And so I think that
yeah,
that's really how I do it is by, you know, taking a breath, taking a moment and being like, okay, I know you don't feel like going to work out because it's cold outside. I work out outside. It's cold outside. It's dark out, whatever. But if you don't do it, you're going to be mad.
yeah.
And that's kind of how that's how I sort of keep that fire lit.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So I love inspiring and motivational quotes.
Mm.
And this week, my favorite quote is actually from the show Suits. And it says, it's going to happen because I'm going to make it happen. Is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
Um, yeah, it's in my notes. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's see. Can you still see me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's a little dark. Maybe not that one. It's from a this show called Deadwood,
Hmm.
which it's pretty dark show. So that quote's pretty dark, but it's very motivating. You know, one of the things that I've found that I feel like I'm a lot more aware of now is that uh I'm sure you've heard like, like be kind to everybody because you have absolutely no idea what kind of battle they're fighting.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, right? Like intellectually that makes sense. Be nice to people, right? You don't know what's going on with them. And the thing that I've realized is that like everybody has something going on. Everybody. Nobody isn't fighting several battles. Nobody isn't fighting several demons. Nobody isn't self-conscious or afraid or uh, anxious. We all are. Everybody is. And
Yeah.
when I when I think about that, and I think about that quote, you have no idea what people are going through. It's weirdly comforting for me because it helps me truly understand that I'm not alone, you know? There's
Yeah.
everybody's going through some dark, scary stuff, whether it's in our own minds, whether it's where we are, whether it's, something like what's happening in Israel right now. There's things that we are all going through and nobody knows, and it's okay. And I think that the one of the things that gives me the most comfort is that when I realize that I'm not the only person who's anxious or who's afraid, um, I when you realize that you're not alone, then you start to not feel guilty for having anxious thoughts or fearful thoughts. Because sometimes when we feel like like we're really anxious, you're in a social situation, you don't know what you're doing, and you're just spinning in your own mind, um, you you feel guilty. You feel like there's something wrong with you when you have those thoughts. But the thing is, there's nothing wrong with you because everybody feels like that. And
Yeah.
when you realize that everybody feels like that, then you realize anxiety and fear, these are all normal things that everybody feels. And there's nothing wrong with me because I feel them. It's just part of the way humans are built. It's what we do. Anxiety and fear, these are things that when we were, Australopithecus and living in caves, those are the things that kept us alive, and it's just it's part of how we're wired. And so, like, listen, I'm not saying that like people have severe anxiety disorders, right? Absolutely. Like I'm not saying that they don't. What I'm saying is that everybody has anxiety. It's something that we all have.
Yeah.
And when we lose the guilt and we lose the kind of like extra level of self-loathing because we're anxious, then we can start to learn how to naturally deal with those things. Like I can learn how to manage my anxiety in a situation. Like one of the things I do is if I'm feeling anxious, I remind myself I feel anxious, and so do you, and so do you, and so do you. So we're all in the same boat. And then it just kind of goes away. It's one of the ways that I sort of like go through that. So I think that that if that answers your question.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Um, well, it was so much fun talking with you, and I really appreciate you taking the time to join me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for having me. This was really good. I hope to come on again sometime.
I would love that. You are welcome back anytime.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's a wrap on today's edition of The Latest with Maya.